always like
Yeah,
that.
two people on this side are getting on like a house on fire. You know the boyfriends out there should just play it fairly straight, will you? Virginia Moncrief, thank you for coming in from 2JJJ.
That's
Is
right.
that the way you say it?
Absolutely.
And Peter Scammell, a promoter
Right.
in town.
Yep.
You've got this long weekend coming up, what, 2 weekends from now, the Anzac Day long weekend.
That's right.
3 days of music. Tell us all about it, Pete.
Well, it's 3 days of music, as you said, but it also incorporates...
What style, what sorts of bands?
It's varied. Each the Friday night is going to be sort of rock and roll. The Saturday night includes 2 bands from Melbourne, the Moodists and Hugo Clang, who Hugo Clang,
Featuring Ollie Olsen, who was a cult hero for about 3 days in 1979.
Right.
And the Sunday night is a more varied bill. It includes some jazz, and it's got a lot of performance, funny stories, just a whole heap of stuff, all independent bands.
How did you guys come to put this on? I take it that you two are the people behind it.
Yeah, well, it's an area that both Virginia and myself have been working in for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I've been putting the music on live. Virginia's been sort of promoting it through Triple J and constant support. JJJ.
Absolutely.
Yep. And this is sort of like our answer to Narara or to
And where did it happen?
at the Trade Union Club. At the Trade Union Club.
Trade Union Club?
Yep.
My toilet.
Well, I hear there was a bit of a list long.
They had 3,557 toilets.
There were plenty of people waiting to get in.
That's true.
So, here you might have.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Very quickly.
Right.
Not trying to put Narara down, mate.
you know.
How much will it cost?
It's going to cost $10 if you get an advance purchase ticket for the 3 nights.
That's good. That's good value.
Yeah, hopefully. It's geared for the unemployed.
Run through some of those bands that'll be on the Friday night.
On the Friday night, there'll be the Scientists, the Celibate Rifles, the Sunday Painters, Cub Calloway and the Cult.
Cab Calloway and the
Calloway.
They better be good to steal
Yes,
that name.
take that name.
They are good. Excellent.
Yeah. And the Wet Taxis, I think. Yeah.
Wet taxis.
The Wet
The
taxis.
front or back? Or both?
Oh, look, I feel like going back
All
on the road just so I can call myself something hysterical.
No, but you're with a major label now, you see.
Oh, you can't do it now.
Can't do it? These are
No,
independents.
they-
Is that correct?
Right.
That's
That's
right.
Can you explain to the people at home what the difference is in a group that is signed to an independent label and a difference signed to a major? What are the good points? What are the bad?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a lot of bands sort of that are independent and not necessarily signed to an independent label, but they're just sort of like generating the money out of gigging or borrowing it from their parents and friends or whatever, dole checks. And they produce their own record or cassette. It's basically financing it yourself.
Right.
And I suppose the difference between that and a major is that you've got the support. I mean, you're actually sort of,
Actually,
Come on in.
speaking as a person who's been associated with major labels my entire life, I am now with an independent label.
Which is then through a major label.
Most independent labels have to go through a major label because, I mean, it depends what you're in the music business for. Some people are in the music business because music is art.
I believe that all my life, isn't that right?
Donnie, I haven't finished.
Oh, sorry.
Thank God you stopped me. No, yeah, they're in it because music is, art, man. And really, they have the most ridiculous ideas. They seem to feel like making money is a sin. And, some people are in music because they want to make their living out of music.
So they go through a major.
They can go through independence too. The thing is, it's more a question of attitude more than anything else.
Oh, and
you can be in an independent company.
Also, you can, a lot of bands that start off and don't necessarily choose to be independent. It's just that there is no other way.
No one
They
else
can-
will touch them with a 10-foot pole or even a 5-foot pole like Lex Boenzo.
But, really to get into a major company is quite a... Like, you've got to bash your head against the door forever.
Yeah,
So some
yeah.
people are just obviously taking a
This is not
shortcut.
true. This isn't true. The major companies are looking out right now.
I haven't seen many of them in the venues
Yeah,
lately.
the thing is, though, that
Yeah, that's right.
a lot of
But there hasn't been anything in the venues lately.
A lot of nice
What
people
of it?
out there.
There's a lot of nice people out there, but the music's not that good. I mean, really.
I'm being a stirrer tonight.
No,
Let's get off that point for a tick. Did you work that out at home, independence major?
Independent.
We'll sort that out for you another week, maybe. If I could talk to you, Virginia, you came up from Canberra and you're working on Radio Australia, is that correct?
Yes, I do a Radio Australia program once a week.
As well as JJJ.
That's right. For some reason, somebody in Radio Australia imagined that I was a rock expert, and so therefore I...
What are these going around?
So being a rock expert, that means that I get to talk to 15 million Indonesians and South Americans a week about what's happening in the Australian rock scene. Right. And I just sort of do a spiel on a program called Arts News and do interviews and what's coming up and just things that have happened, who's signed to what label, you know, who's playing, who's going overseas, who's come back, all of that sort of stuff.
When can we here in Australia hear you on that channel?
Not on Radio Australia, because you can only pick it up in Australia on shortwave. So radio, which is ideal if you're into
if you're into shortwave.
If you're into shortwave and lots of white noise, and there are a lot of people who are, you can hear me on Radio Australia 7 days a week.
And Triple J, JJJ, sorry, you do background research.
Yeah, I'm the researcher, and I do interviews mostly with independent bands and bands that are unsigned at the time, and also with overseas bands and what have you. Okay. Yeah.
If we can come back to you, Pete, very quickly, run through it again one more time, because we may not have time at the end. We're going to have music.
Right. Well, Friday the 22nd is the lineup that I told you about with the scientists and celibate rifles. Right. That's on the top floor. On the second floor at the Trade, we're going to have films, installations, performances. It's going to be sort of like a whole environment, a circus.
And Iggy gets a free ticket.
An art circus, yeah.
Well, if Iggy comes along and MCs for us, he gets a free ticket.
Oh.
Talk to my manager.
Manager, talk here.
Can you answer that?
You can't answer this question without the manager.
American manager too, eh? Ooh.
I know this.
American manager. What's your legs broken?
She just came in.
I'm your American manager.
Let's have a look at the zoo.
Right.
We'll talk a little more later. Some video gymnastic gyrations. You'll love this.
Oh.
Coming up after the zoo. And then Ricky Lee Jones.